So I gotta be honest, I've tried recording this video probably about 30 to 40 times at this point, and I just don't even really know how to start. We have an article by a supposedly conservative porn star who's talking about how the First Amendment and muff freedom and all that stuff is embodied in pornography and how great it is and that kind of thing. And they're writing in a supposedly self described conservative publication, The Federalist. And I did just a teeny bit of background research, and it just gets weirder and weirder and crazier and crazier. And we're reaching levels of big brained hot takes that are so big and so hot, they're like a super massive blue star that's about to implode on itself and create a black hole. That's how big brained and how hot the takes are that we're dealing with today. But how do you even introduce something like that? How do you even begin to kind of cover something like that? I don't even know. So we're just going to go into it. I'm sorry if I'm a little distraught and a little disorganized here. It's just, I don't even really know how to tackle this one. Well, I got sent this in a Discord group that I'm a member of. So this is written by Brandi Love. Now, I thank God and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ that I'd never heard of this person before. In another window, because I won't show this obviously on YouTube, but according to Pornhub, she is the number 6 ranked porn star of all time, and number 13 for this week. So I just wanted to read a bit of her biography here, just to give a bit of background. I live by the motto, dare to be deviant. I have been an adult performer since 2002 and have loved every minute of it, and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Brandi Love started her porno career at age of 31 and quickly became known for her triple X roles as a MILF and a hot wife. Born in 1973. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. She started performing. She was even on Penn and Teller bullshit in the war on porn. This hottie is also a smarty. Not only did she start her own company, in 2008 she wrote a book called Getting Wild Sex from Your Conservative Woman. Wow, that's amazing. Brandi Love is the true embodiment of the hot wife. Brandi practices open relationships and free love in real life. Every swinger wishes that would come in their kids' party. Come to their key party. I don't know. Miss Love has been an advocate for consensual non-monogamy. In 2006, she and her husband were on the Tyra Banks show with Hugh Hefner and his 3 girlfriends debating a monogamous couple about, is monogamy natural? Brandi has spoken at universities in human sexuality classes about swinging alternative relationship styles and arguing against traditional marriage. And somehow she still finds time to stuff cock in her mouth. She has been nominated to many, I don't even know what these awards are. Brandi Love gives back, whether volunteering to organizations to her fans, to the cock she is deep-throating, or just by showing us her magnificent giant tits. We can see why this MILF is the top of Porn Mountain. That's family values for you right there. 1 second. So looking at Twitter, at her Twitter account, which has 148,000 followers, she says, I'm that conservative porn star who writes for The Federalist. Now, I don't know what's worse, the fact that she technically does, or the fact that she's only written 2 articles for them. So it's not even like she's a consistent columnist. And Twitter's such a piece of shit. This account that I'm on at the moment literally got banned because I made a new account, and the purpose of the account was to only be for looking at other accounts. So I wasn't even going to use it. And as a joke, I posted hope not hate and racism is bad. And my account got banned from that. So, but this is fine. This is okay. This doesn't violate the terms of service. That's it's based. She's only written 2 articles, but she still puts that in her bio. So yeah, that's great. That's the kind of that's the direction the movement needs to go in. It's like, gotcha, liberals. Not only are we going to have like right wing conservative people who are Christian and are non white, we're going to get like porn stars and people in non traditional marriages, and we're going to use that to trigger the libs, to own the libs. I think even Ben Shapiro didn't support cuties, did he? I don't know, but anyways, let's just get into this. Okay, no, living under an Islamic caliphate wouldn't be better than keeping cam girls legal. What is this horror that would lead a conservative to ponder the benefits of a global Islamic caliphate? The subscription adult entertainment site OnlyFans. Now, I'm going to be honest, there's times I've pondered that. I'm not going to lie. I'm sure most of you out there have at some point in time, like not seriously, because God knows I don't want to live under an Islamic regime, but been like, if they could clean up like a lot of the degeneracy, just the disgusting filth that we have to deal with on a daily basis, maybe living under a caliphate wouldn't be that bad. I'm sure I mean, that's not the case because Islam's full of its own kind of degeneracy with temporary marriages, the obsession with rape, stuff like that. But I'm sure we've all been there sometimes. So let's see what our wise MILF mother. I guess instead of a milk mother, she's our MILF mother. A recent article in a popular conservative publication opens with, "Every now and then the modern world produces a trend so ghastly you can't help but sit back and think, would a global Islamic caliphate really be that bad?" Well, yeah, but that's based. Of course, it's the American Conservative, which, from my understanding, is a like a paleocon institution. So I'd actually agree with them. I think that many a day. Every day I walk down the street in Toronto, actually. What is the horror that would lead a conservative to ponder the benefits of a global Islamic caliphate, a world of torture, murder, perpetual fear, mass rape, and forced religion? I mean, we already live under that. Has anyone ever hear of Pizzagate? Anyone ever hear of Jeffrey Epstein? It's not like this stuff doesn't already exist. No, the subscription pornography and cam girl site OnlyFans. In contrast to the absurd idea that living under draconian restrictions of Sharia law would be better than the freedom for people to do things you think are wrong, let's look at how adult entertainment is not only legally protected, but also providing relief during the current pandemic. It's fucking... There's some galaxy brain takes here. Like, it's... I hate this. This is my issue, and this is why I don't say I'm, like, just for blanket freedom of speech anymore. Like, speech is a tool. Speech is a tool, guns are tools, a hammer's a tool, science is a tool. These things aren't good or bad in and of themselves. A gun isn't good or bad. A book isn't good or bad. It's what the person who's wielding them is using them for, and what purpose they're being used for that makes them good or bad. It doesn't matter if it's a gun or not a gun. What matters is the gun being wielded in an appropriate manner. Is it being used for hunting or self-defense? Or fighting for the right cause, for fighting for God, fighting for the nation, fighting for something good? Or is it being used for evil? Is it being used to rob somebody? Is it being used to kill innocents and to spread evil? I mean, these things are not necessarily good or bad in and of themselves. It's what they're being used for. the medium of film, for instance, isn't good or bad in of itself. It's a way of conveying ideas and thoughts and stories and all perceptions and stuff like that. So if the values behind it, the story is trying to convey, if that's good from a moral standpoint, if it teaches you something, even if it's just entertaining and not entertaining in a problematic way, then that's good. But it can also be used to spread evil and degeneracy and to ruin society and stuff like that. So this idea that like freedom of speech is just inherently good is frankly, I think, very morally nihilistic and intellectually cowardice, and shows intellectual cowardice. Because it's basically just going, look, I don't know what's right or wrong. I don't really want to make any kind of rulings or judgments on anything. So we're just going to say that we're just going to protect the medium, and that's really all that matters. The content doesn't matter. Who am I to decide upon the content? Who am I to do anything like that? Anyways, let's just keep going with this. It's really fucking big brained. Adult entertainment is protected first, free speech. Well, that's a big brain take. How does someone call himself a conservative and then dismiss the First Amendment? Okay, how does someone call themselves a conservative and dismiss the First Amendment? Because ultimately God's law comes before the First Amendment. I mean, I live in Canada, but we have, theoretically, it's not treated that way, but we theoretically have a right to freedom of expression. And I guess here's the question, which comes first? The will of God and the nation and of goodness? Or the, like, 1982 or whatever it is, human right, charter of rights and freedoms, some piece of paper that says you have a right to freedom of expression? Which one's more important? For me, the former is more important. So what kind of conservative dismisses the First Amendment? Well, if the First Amendment like goes against what's natural and good and true, then yeah, fuck the First Amendment. Like, I don't really get why this is so complicated. It's, you just have to take a position and have a standpoint and just say, yes, this is right. The alternatives to this are wrong. I'm going to promote what I think is right and punish what I think is wrong. That's how society works. That's how all societies work. If you think your society doesn't work that way, it's because you're in the group of people who is being protected and you're not part of the group of people who's being repressed. People can talk about how great freedom of speech is and how we need no barriers, but the truth of the matter is everybody draws the line somewhere. The people who try to make money off of criticizing cancel culture will not, normally speaking, defend people like me or people who criticize you-know-who or those other people or any number of different groups. People who might criticize, I don't know, Israel or the F slurs or the youths and teens or the religion. Well, no, actually, they're okay with criticizing the religion of peace. They're generally not okay with people criticizing youths, teens, Israel, the lizard people, Israel and the lizard people, and the F slurs. They get angry if you criticize any of those people, but they're against cancel culture. So if like somebody says something like, I think Israel has an undue amount of influence on our government relative to how strategically important it is to the US, they'll be okay with that person getting fired. But because that's not freedom of speech, because that's against their particular value set. So like what it really comes down to is it's not even really being against freedom of speech or against freedom of speech. It's, you're defining freedom as doing what you believe is acceptable, which is, I mean, is what, at least from my understanding in Catholic teaching, what freedom is. Freedom is the freedom to do the right thing. You have the freedom to work and make a living for yourself. You have the freedom to get married and have children. you don't have the freedom to steal, and you don't have the freedom to not to rape a woman or something like that. Freedom is things that you're allowed to do the right thing, and it doesn't apply to bad things. At least that's my understanding of it. Sorry, I'm kind of tired. I'm hopefully this isn't too incoherent. Regardless of how people feel about adult entertainment, it is clear from US Supreme Court decisions that the modern court believes that the Constitution protects expressive conduct. It does not equate nudity or consensual sex with obscenity. Yeah, that's a big brain take. I mean, they basically are like synonymous words, but I guess not. And why are conservatives supposed to be like sucking the dick of the modern Supreme Court? The modern Supreme Court shit. The modern Supreme Court brought us God knows how many things. And I know you'll say, but Argent, you're Canadian. Yeah, but the Supreme Court is just like an institution that is ubiquitous to every Western and non-Western society that just rears its ugly head and will impose shit that no one in society wants. Like in a lot of countries, it's very, very rare for gay marriage to be passed by parliament, let alone by any kind of a referendum. That, generally speaking, almost never happens. It's almost always the Supreme Court of the country that unilaterally decides to do it and override everybody else, even if like 80 to 90% of the population against it, even if the population has voted consistently to define marriage as between a man and a woman within the Constitution. But now we're supposed to suck the dick of the Supreme Court. That's the take here. Is that the modern Supreme Court, which conservatives, I guess, complain about, we're supposed to just suck their dicks. The First Amendment protects more than political speech. In a powerful 1948 passage supporting freedom of speech, the court wrote in Winters versus New York that it did not accept the argument that the constitutional protection for a free press applies only to the exposition of ideas. In an off-cited passage, the majority declared, the line between the informing and the entertaining is too elusive for the protection of that basic right. What does that even mean? Everyone is familiar with instances of propaganda through fiction. What is one man's amusement teaches another man's doctrine. Though we can see nothing of any possible value to society in these magazines, they are as much entitled to the protection of free speech as the best of literature. But that's not the... Okay, I'll just finish this. The First Amendment protects speech on a wide variety of non-political topics. These include, but are not limited to, the arts, entertainment, and movies. The First Amendment serves as the blueprint for personal liberty. To restrict freedom of speech only to political matters would severely narrow our freedoms. Yeah, but the First Amendment does it, and whatever the different versions of it are in Canada or Britain or Europe or whatever, it doesn't apply to private companies. You can still get fired for saying whatever you want, which is actually worse. I mean, if you had a choice between being blacklisted and being unable to work for the rest of your life versus the government, I don't know, fines you and puts you in jail for a couple of months. I mean, which of those is worse? Like, let's say you drop an N-bomb and, I don't know, the government fines you $1,000. Oh boy. Maybe they even put you in jail for a couple of months. I mean, that kind of sucks. But because none of these amendments apply to private companies, you can get fired for dropping an N-bomb. You can have the video of that sent to everyone who you might possibly work for and never be allowed to get a job. So it's kind of pointless. I mean, who even really care? Like, it's in practice, it doesn't matter. Also, like I said, these people don't support it. We'll see this later on. I think in this where they'll say like, child pornography isn't covered by the First Amendment. I don't really get why it wouldn't be covered by the First Amendment if we're going by this, like, logic. I don't know. Anyways, we'll get into it. Anyone who's seen the movie The People versus Larry Flint or read about the case understands where the Supreme Court stands on this issue. The First Amendment, as part of the Bill of Rights, protects the viewpoints of those in the minority from being oppressed by what Alexis de Tocqueville termed the tyranny of the majority. Honestly, I would prefer the tyranny of the majority to the tyranny of the Supreme Court. Are you kidding me? Do you think if we had tyranny of the majority, like any of the shit that the Supreme Court or our elites have done over the years would have happened? Do you think the tyranny of the majority would have given us mass immigration or any of that stuff? Like, don't get me wrong, plebs are gonna pleb, but a lot of these ideas don't really come from the plebeian classes. They come from really smart guys in black robes. Anyways, the First Amendment particularly safeguards expressions that challenge the existing state of affairs. Although obscenity and child pornography received no First Amendment protection, there's no explanation for why that case is by this logic. Modern courts have decided that the First Amendment generally protects pornography that does not fall into those categories. Okay, here we go. We got some more cringe. I am both a conservative and a Christian because being the number... Well, I guess that's why she's the number 7 ranked porn star on Pornhub. Because she's a Christian and she's a conservative. And she's rock and roll. I have traveled all over the United States meeting fans for more than 15 years. There are millions. My fan base is now and has always been what I would like to refer to as sex, drugs, and drink and rock and roll conservatives. Wow, that's that is so big-brained and so cringe. I don't even know how to respond to it. Okay, here we go. This is even more cringy. My members are a direct reflection of me, constitutional red states Second Amendment supporting pro-lifers who support our troops and our right to free speech. We love God and our flag, but generally dislike organized religion, of course. We'd like to hang out on the deck drinking a beer, talking sports, listening to country, rock, and rap while using colorful words to describe Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Anthony Fauci. So she's pro-life, apparently, which I'm going to press a massive X to doubt on that one. But we're going to suck the dick of the Supreme Court, which brought in that. I don't know what polls were like about it at the time. I can only imagine that the majority of the population... Even if I think even today, if you were to put it to a vote as to whether or not like partial birth or late term abortion should be legal, it would still lose. Even if maybe, I mean, in some states, if there was a referendum on it, it would probably become completely illegal in some states. But no, tyranny of the majority is bad, and the Supreme Court is amazing. So when a conservative publication runs an article wishing for an Islamic caliphate because of OnlyFans and its people, it's a slap in the face on to this significant segment of the population that votes Republican. It pushes us further away from Christian political conservatism. It backfires just as it does every time the left tries to manipulate the facts to sap President Trump. So if you ever are like, fuck it, I can't take the degeneracy anymore, I wish that ISIS would just take over. You're part of the problem. You're against... I don't know, I'm sorry guys, my brain's kind of blown. Rather than a plague on humanity and a reason to welcome a global Islamic caliphate, OnlyFans has been a financial and emotional oasis during a shutdown that's gone on far too long. For me, OnlyFans has been an answered prayer. I mean, that's what Jesus... It's like, Jesus, can you help me out in my time of need? And then Jesus sends OnlyFans. Like, what kind of fucked up, like, logic is that? It's... And even if you're not religious, is it healthy to have dudes sending like large sums of money to like girls that they'll never meet and they'll never like actually have sex with to get them to read their name out on a stream or something. Like, it's really just fucking pathetic. Like, it's incomparably more pathetic than just hiring a prostitute. I mean, that at least makes sense to me. You at least get to have actual sex then, and it's probably less expensive than OnlyFans. At a time our real estate business has been decimated due to shutdowns, we will likely survive the losses because of OnlyFans. We won't make profits this year, but we won't be forced into foreclosure. We are still working 6 days a week, 10 to 14 hours a day because of OnlyFans. But maybe the American Conservative article was right. We'd be better off with a global Islamic caliphate. Although frustrated with the shutdown, my husband and I have had the time of our lives together over these 6 weeks. Although OnlyFans has kept us busy, we have had the opportunity to share and film creative ideas. We sit and sip in the mornings together and wine at night, while just talking and laughing. And yes, we have had more and better sex than we have had in the last 5 to 7 years. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that sweet? Like, this woman, she can keep making a living by just actively destroying society. Life got simple because the simplicity is coupled with an ability to earn from home, and we are able to enjoy this time together, free from crushing stress of collapsing finances. But maybe the American Conservative article is right. We'd be better off with a global Islamic caliphate. I love how triggered she is. I love how angry this makes her. I love how triggered this makes her. Clearly has zero idea what my fan base and I discuss. He might be shocked, not because of the vulgarity, but because of its vanilla nature. I chat with my fan base all day long. 80% of their discussions are about their fears, this shutdown, the politics of it all. We discuss recipes, how to preserve food. We talk about how my husband and I have maintained a happy, joyful marriage throughout 25 years, especially given our chosen profession. Okay, good. This is almost over. I was going to start skipping through that. More often than not, it's not about sex, it's about life. People want people that they can talk to, especially at times like these. When the talk is about sex, it's often about all those kinks and how they feel they're judged or nervous to discuss them with those they love. OnlyFans gives them an outlet. It's a place they can come and discuss and live out their sexual interests without fear. OnlyFans is a small sample of a world where the beautiful natural impulses of affection and a need to connect can continue when physical intimacy isn't possible. When the shutdown ends, I will return to meeting my fans in person. I will be shaking hands and giving hugs. And for those people in times when physical meetings are impossible, I'm thankful there will always be OnlyFans. So this is like some amazing Kino we got right here. This is some Kino. This is big brained. I can't believe I was able to get through that without vomiting. That was really cringy. Sorry if I'm just kind of tired when I'm recording this, but I just had to get it out while this was fresh in my mind. This is some epic cringe. I don't really have much else to say about it, and this video's gone on long enough, so God bless. Try to stay safe out there. Fuck me.